recognize what the cause is. Amen. For that happiness. Don't be sold based off false advertisements. Don't be sold off false advertisements. People who are sold off of false advertisements have a false sense of peace. They have a false sense of joy. Their peace is false, and all things false have to come to an end. False prophets got to come to an end. Teachers got to come to an end. Amen. Because it's all false advertisement. Amen. The devil will use leaders, amen, to sell us false advertisements. Social media can sometimes sell us false advertisements, and we think we have to do it their way. Amen. But don't be sold by the false advertisements. God will disturb you in a peaceful place. That's what I've learned, is that sometimes you think you're at a good place, you think you're at a peaceful place, and yet you're not doing his will completely. He will disturb you in a peaceful place like he did with Jonah. Amen. Jonah was so comfortable underneath that tree. Amen. And yet God kept disturbing him. Amen. Because if it's not causing you to grow, amen, God said, I have to bring you up out of there. You can't have real peace without me. You can't have love without me, is what he's saying. You can't have joy without me. You can't have deliverance without me. Amen. Everything real comes from God. He said, only I can give you peace that surpasses all understanding. He's saying, if you compare the peace that you've been trying to obtain compared to mine, surpasses means greater than. That means my peace is greater than any relationship you could ever get in. My peace is greater than any test you'll ever face. My peace is greater than any job position that you'll ever hold. My peace is greater than any amount of money that you'll ever get. My peace is greater and stronger than any drug you'll ever take. Amen. My peace is stronger and greater than any bottle of liquor that you ever pick up. Amen. Because you will continuously be sold by false advertisements. Amen. That's like people who still eat McDonald's and they're wondering why they're still getting bigger.
Yeah. Come on here.
Because you keep falling for the false advertisement, because every time they got a new McChicken sandwich out, you going. Yeah. That's what I mean by a false advertisement. Amen. You go by the eye. Amen. You go by the sight and what you see. Amen. And so sometimes it detours us from what God was trying to give us in the first place. Amen. And we no longer become a disturber. Amen. But we become a conformer. Amen. But tell somebody, I'm anointed to be a disturber. You are a disturber of any peace that's less than God's peace, is my point. You are a disturber of anything that is less than God. Amen. So that means that even we have to live in a place where we don't receive or accept things that are less than God. Amen. We allow people to speak in our life and we receive it, and it was something that God never said. Amen. He said you was going to be a chief apostle. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He said that out of flesh. But you received it because that's the false advertisement that you wanted to receive. You want to be a chief apostle. You don't want to just sing praise and worship. Your desire is to be an apostle, amen, and you're going to get there off of false activities. Amen. And then when you become the apostle, I'm going to call you a false one. So it's whatever you want to do. You want to keep getting promoted in something false, then that's on you. You want to be happy as long as it's a false advertisement, as long as you got money. I told my friend the other day, I said, girl, you always the one with the house, with the money. That's why they hang out with you, because they ain't never got a dime. They don't got their own place to stay. They stay with their mama in the basement. Why do you think they love you? Why do you think they want to come over here all the time? Because you have something to offer and they have nothing to give in exchange. Wipe the false advertisements. He don't love you. It's based on the conditions. Amen. Some of us want to be in ministry so bad, but it's off of what call we want, what platform we want, what YouTube channel we trying to appear on. And there has to be a message behind why you want that, what that preacher has, why you want what that bishop has, why you want it. Is it to touch people, or is it to get the false advertisement out there? What is it for? So we have to make sure that what we're living for is not false. Amen. And that our goals and our growth is based upon something real. Amen. Because we are anointed to be disturbers of things false. Amen. And so that is what Apostle John and Paul was doing. They said, no, this ain't no real peace. You ever heard of Jesus? After they just killed him 2 weeks ago. Have you ever heard of Jesus? They like, no, don't talk about that right now. We don't want to hear nothing about that. Amen. And so when they put him in jail in that evening, they had more believers than they started with. And many of you are bound up, but a lot of people are looking for you to succeed. Amen. Because they believe in you and they believe in God because of you. That's why we can't stay bound. We can't stay in prison for too long, because there's too many people that are allowed into our hand that God needs them to see you in order for them to come out. And yet we don't think about